In this episode of Detroit Performs, Techno pioneers explain Detroit's significance to the music.
And I think that Detroit's claim to fame is that this music, Detroit is the birthplace of what we call techno music. And I think Detroit is famous worldwide.
CriticCar Detroit shares citizen reviews of the arts.
And we both came down the movement. We come down every year. It's a great techno event. You get world-class DJs come all over the world.
A photographer who sees a canvas through his lens.
I think what I do is, in a sense, hopefully help the people who see my work see the world.
And a hip-hop entity exploding in Southwest Detroit.
DPR came together because there were so many people that were kind of like interested in the same music, activism, spreading love, hip-hop, so we kind of came together because we've known each other for a while.
It's all ahead in this edition of Detroit Performs.
Major funding for Detroit Performs is provided by the McGregor Fund. Additional funding is provided by the Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural Affairs and the National Endowment for the Arts, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello, I'm DJ Oliver, and this is Detroit Performs. Now, Detroit has iconic art in many places throughout the city, and I'll be taking you to different pieces around Hart Plaza during today's show. Right now, for instance, I'm in front of the Labor Legacy Mark, Transcending, created by sculptors David Barr and Sergio De Giusti. The stainless steel arc rises 63 feet and is broken off at the top to symbolize the unfinished task of organized labor. It is the only such monument in the United States. And every spring, thousands of people with neon hair and glow sticks in hand walk past this monument during the Movement Electronic Music Festival.
Techno is like a way of exchanging ideas, and largely what techno is about is ideas.
It was a largely instrumental music, which was kind of unheard of at the time. Everything had lyrics in it, and everything in popular music or even underground music always had lyrics, and they just sometimes had vocals, sometimes it didn't. And as a producer, I found that so attractive because I could release the records anonymously. Like, no one knew who these artists were at such an early part of this. There was no real promotion or faces connected to it. And I could just do something on my own and really escape into it and just pour as much energy as I could, because I felt like, well, if I came up with something interesting enough, that maybe this would lead to something.
When I heard it, sounded like the future to me, and like the lyrics would go through my head over and over again. It really just felt like it was cooler than Blade Runner. It like described like the future, like this gritty future to me, and this search to find a new place to go with your mind now that you're kind of like experiencing the apocalypse. It's like, I feel like in a lot of ways, Detroit is like like the city of the future.
I started this sound, I kind of coined the term techno music, and it started way back in the early 80s, and I think that Detroit's claim to fame is that this music, Detroit is the birthplace of what we call techno music, and I think Detroit is famous worldwide.
The edge that the city of Detroit has adds a grit to the tone. So whether it's house music or techno or even hip hop that comes from Detroit, it still has like this edge. It's more intangible, but it's like this rawness that is like, you can just feel that it's real.
has this ongoing reputation as being a place where new ideas are tried in this music. It's consistently pushing forward and looking and being progressive. We're kind of living in a time where like a lot of ideas are recycled. So I think something new, or even something just trying to be new or different, really resonates with people.
Detroit's place within it is, it was actually one of the first places to think of specific new ideas, to make like these specific innovations and this particular sound palettes, particular ways of using drum machines.
The dynamic of Detroit has a subliminal or subconscious effect over everybody that's here, but I think it does create a edge to the music that doesn't exist in any other city. It creates a toughness and a hardness that, you know, that is beautiful in its own way. Before the festival started, you know, I used to always say, I traveled a lot to Europe, and they would do these type of festivals started in Europe like years before we started doing it here.
For years we didn't have anything here that really was the focus of the party aspect of it. You know, there's plenty of labels and producers based here, but there was no event that people felt like engaged enough to come to until the Movement Festival.
I was under the belief that I would used to say, this could never happen in the USA. And then it happened. And I was very amazed and surprised. And it's definitely a good achievement and a good feeling to see that, you know, that this festival is going on like the 11th or 12th year now.
It's a chance for us to finally celebrate what we created here and what has made such a global impact. I mean, they're still excited to bring new Detroit techno artists to Croatia or Japan, you know, or Berlin, you know, etc., like all over the world. But when do they get to be celebrated at home? And when does the music get recognized here? Because it doesn't fit into, you know, a rock and roll format or selling something by a face or an image. You know, it's almost anti-image. It's a chance to actually celebrate what's been created here, have 100,000 people or however many it is that come down to Hart Plaza, and actually the community is not just known on the internet, which, you know, doesn't really have, like, you get excitement, but you don't have this biofeedback. You get this huge biofeedback of being in these crowds, feeling this emotion. It's like the myth of techno becomes reality for a marathon weekend of the festival and these after-hour events, and it gives people internationally a place to come to. It's like the Hajj. It's their pilgrimage to the source of this music, you know, and the respect and the dreams that go into that are like palpable, like in that weekend.
Great opportunity for local labels and DJs and artists to kind of showcase what they do. So it's made a big difference, I would say.
For more information on Detroit's techno music scene, as well as all the other artists highlighted in today's show, you can go to DetroitPerforms.org. Now, I love coming down to Hart Plaza to see Detroiters enjoying a nice day, and there's no better place to cool off than by this beautiful piece of art, the Horace E. Dodge Fountain. The fountain contains 300 lights and 300 jets, and has an intricate computerized lighting and nozzle system, creating art with light and water. Now let's go to our good friends at CriticCar Detroit to see some citizen reviews on Detroit arts events.
I'm Tremaine.
And this is Morgan.
And we both came down to Movement. We come down every year. It's a great techno event. You get world-class DJs come all over the world. Basically, everybody's in a good mood. Nobody comes down here to fight or get in any trouble or anything like that. It's really all about the music. Dress how you want, feel how you want. As long as you're having fun, everything's good. And we basically make a sabbatical every year to come down here and enjoy it. So.
And it's a wonderful time to let yourself be carefree, and you get to enjoy all the people that you don't know. So this is a good time to come down here.
So it's a good thing to come down here and really experience what Detroit has to offer on a positive note.
You can view more of CriticCar Detroit citizen reviews on their Facebook page and YouTube channel, which you can find through DetroitPerforms.org. I'm now standing next to the Gateway to Freedom, International Memorial to the Underground Railroad. It is a remarkable piece of art commemorating Detroit's pivotal role in helping thousands of African Americans escape enslavement. I strongly urge you to come down here and see this monument, which pays tribute to so many incredible people. Now, let's take a look at some arts events happening this week around Detroit. Photographer Michael Eastman has traveled around the world for snapshots of buildings and structures, but his work doesn't look like architectural photography. Now, Eastman uses light and long exposures to create images that sometimes look abstract. He calls his work urban luminosity.
I'm drawn to things that reflect light, and either reflect light or transmit light. And I'm not always too concerned about what it is. It becomes kind of abstract, so you don't really know that this wall is in an elevator or the shaft of light is from an atrium. To me, it's unimportant. These are not photographs about the architecture. These are photographs about the way light hits and transmits through surfaces. You know, I try to see myself as a kind of urban alchemist. I'm looking at sort of fairly common, usually ignored textures and surfaces in contemporary architecture in cities, big cities usually. I started these photographs in New York, which was a great place to start because there's such great architecture there. I traveled around the country, and then I found that I wanted to go to sites where there were really fantastic contemporary architecture. So the Far East is where I headed. Shanghai, Tokyo, and Osaka. Great examples of architecture and great examples for me to photograph luminosity. They're shot usually at night. The exposures are very long, anywhere from 2 to 10 minutes. I don't know exactly what I'm going to get because the lights are so dim and they're all usually photographed off of reflective surfaces that until I get actually the film, and I do still shoot film, back to my studio and scan them in, I don't know what they look like. So it's sort of like, I'm doing this digitally, but it's the same thrill as when I was photographing and you printed a piece in the darkroom for the first time and you looked at that tray and it suddenly emerged. When I first began, I was, accused of photographing things as a painter, and I thought it was sort of a criticism, but now as I do this more and more, I realize it is what I am. I'm a painter who's using the camera as my brushes and the world as my canvas. So I see things much the way a painter does. I'm very interested in texture and patina and surface and light, and the subject is not as important in some ways as the color and what that abstract surface looks like. I started in 1972. I got into it by borrowing a friend's camera. unlike other art forms, photography was really accessible. And I started creating images right away and thought that they were fairly good. It took me about 10 years to realize they weren't, but by that time I was pretty hooked. Started off in black and white, abstractions, urban, usually architecture, switched to color in the 80s. Went to Cuba in the late 90s. 2000 I started working on the book on horses. So things lead from one another, but I do a lot of different things. And even though I've got all these chapters that are, throughout 40 years, there's a consistency throughout it. I mean, I am interested in surface and color and composition and sort of abstract expressionism. And so the works are all related, and I think it's the same photographer, although the subject matter is very diverse. I'm not one of those people that, that knows, and I have a great deal of admiration for those that know exactly where to be when they see something that would be the perfect photograph. And there are many great examples of photographers that do that. I'm not like that. I think things present themselves to me when I'm there, and some things don't present themselves and I don't get them. So it's sort of like what happens right at that moment where the light hits it, where the wear and tear of the rain has peeled away the poster. All these things culminate in a moment in time when the abstraction is there for me and that the light hits it and I go, boom, that's it. Because I think it's everywhere. I think what I do is, in a sense, hopefully help the people who see my work see the world. And the highest compliment I ever got was somebody said that they were walking down the street and saw a surface on an old building and thought of me. And I thought, my God, you can't do more than that. You can't do more than, as an artist, is change the way a person sees the world.
I could see Eastman doing some amazing things with Detroit architecture, especially the GM Renaissance Center. Now you can see more of his work at DetroitPerforms.org. And here is the iconic memorial to boxing legend Joe Louis. The fist sits at the end of Woodward in front of Hart Plaza. This monument epitomizes the heart, soul, and toughness of Detroit. And our next group of young performers embodies those same characteristics through their words and music. Here are Detroit's own Dirty Politics Records.
It doesn't matter where you come from, what struggles you have to overcome. You can be whatever you want to be, and you can do that through music therapy. DPR came together because there were so many people that were kind of like interested in the same music, activism, spreading love, hip hop, so we kind of came together because we've known each other for a while. Myself, Knox, and Lex. And then after that, Eddie, Nando, Sandy kind of just became part of the crew. We represent hip-hop culture, what it means to grow up in the hood, living through the struggles, sending that message and saying, hey, it doesn't matter what you've been through, what you're going through, you can still be successful. You can still have whatever it is that you need in life.
I think our story is very relevant today. Everybody in this group come from some type of struggle. We've all got different stories, but it's all come through some type of pain, some type of suffering, and music has been our outlet. It's been our way of escaping the violence, the drugs, the things that go on in this neighborhood that aren't beautiful.
Almost such a sky.
Okay, kindergarten, we got the kazoo, and I'm playing the kazoo. Playing the kazoo at Holy Redeemer, But my kazoo wasn't working. And after we were all done, they're like, good job, kids. I came up to my mom. She was like, oh, you sounded so good. And I was pissed off because I didn't play the kazoo. It broke. But fast forward, I've been playing music, classically trained up until high school, and I played jazz. I traveled around the state playing jazz. I played with notable figures in jazz. My mentor was Wynton Marsalis and also Stan Baywall. I learned a lot in jazz, and then kind of hip hop was a secondary thing.
It's kind of complicated. I've been writing for a long time, since like elementary school maybe even, and it was just a way for me to like get through things that were going on in my head at the time, and you know, just express some thoughts of mine, and it eventually just became a habit. So from then on, it was just like that's all I wanted to do. That's all I needed to do. Music, a way of life, I guess, just living, just making it to where it's more, like doing music isn't a hobby, you know what I mean? Like I want to be able to do this every day, you know, go to like Cuba and like link up with some activists or like some other MCs and producers over there, and head over to Berlin and do the same thing, or just wherever, just, you know, travel and link up with everyone else and help project those stories as well.
In a world of dominant culture through patriarchy, whatever you want to call it, I'm providing a counter-narrative for my people of the city, and my identity is indigenous culture, so that's what I represent. That's my counter-narrative to those things, to the mainstream narrative of what's going on.
I hope that what my music can do for others is to inspire them as a form of therapy. You know, they just go home, listen to my music, you know, can get all their anger out, you know, have a connection with me, even though they don't know me. Feel like I'm a family member or a friend, you know, I'm sharing their story, you know, so that they can just get through the day.
I want to be able to transmit everything from the sound to the mechanics, the wording, the lyrics, everything that comes with it, the visual, the audio, everything to its full extent.
Reach as many people as I could or can with my music, and just, you know, be the voice of the voiceless.
We are ultimately trying to give a message. We're trying to feed people the thoughts that are in our heads, you know, the feelings that we're trying to convey. I feel that we speak the language of love more than anything. We're trying to reach out to people that are in need of that, because we lack that.
What makes my narrative important in these times of doing music is it's not only my narrative, I represent everyone around me in my community. My story is also my neighbor's story. You know, I know how it feels, you know, to grow up poor, you know, not having nothing, coming from nothing and making something out of nothing. And so does everyone else in my community.
My narrative is important because it speaks to, you know, generation of people that are from the same place that I was from, you know, like minds, like spirits. So for me, music is therapy, you know, and if we could sit down and talk about the struggles in a way that's productive, for me, that's it. You know?
My narrative is important because I represent more than myself. I represent my family. I represent my generation. I represent my people. I have 2 markets. I speak both English and Spanish, so I'm speaking to more than just one audience. I'm trying to reach out to multiple audiences in multiple places throughout the world. So it's very important. I take it very seriously because I am pretty much the change in my family for the kids to come.
Music's been a part of my life forever. My family came here to America to play music in the church here at Holy Trinity, right down the street. That's how my family got to America. So all my aunts, my uncles are musicians and composers. My mom plays the guitar. My uncles play the trumpets and bells, and my family sounds like an orchestra when you get together. So it's embedded in my DNA. I love music, I breathe music. It comes out of me when I'm taking a shower or when I'm at work, helping teach it to the youth for the future to come up behind us and be able to tell their stories. So music is very much a part of my life.
I came into music out of a very personal history with pain, and I feel that my music transmits that, the soul and stuff like that. I actually like blues a lot, and it's because it speaks my language. Very deep, very heavy, lyrical poetry type of things. That's the kind of message that I like to deliver. But I came into it just because I needed some type of getaway from, you know, myself and the things that I was going through, so that was my gateway.
For more information on Dirty Politics Records, you can visit the Detroit Performs website. And that wraps it up for this edition of Detroit Performs. For more information on arts and culture, you can visit DetroitPerforms.org, where you'll find featured videos, blogs, and information on upcoming arts events. Now, don't forget to check out all the monuments I showed you here today. Until next Tuesday, get out there and show them how Detroit performs. Now, I am DJ Oliver. Thanks for watching, guys.
Major funding for Detroit Performs is provided by the McGregor Fund. Additional funding is provided by the Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural Affairs and the National Endowment for the Arts, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.